So today I'm going to make a super simple teriyaki chicken with some steamed green beans. In the rice cooker is 2 cups of jasmine rice rinsed with 3 cups of water. Put it in the rice cooker, press white rice, and walk away. For the steamed green beans, I keep it really simple. You have a pot, a little bit of water. Notice there's not a lot. I have my steamer basket and then a bag of green beans. I'm just going to put these in there. Put the cover on and cook it for 10 minutes. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the pressure cooker, and what's really important is the top and this ring. So in each pressure cooker, the ring might be a different color, but they all have the ring. And if the ring isn't set up properly, your pressure cooker will make a funny sound and it won't work right. So every single time before you use your pressure cooker, make sure it's in, press it all the way around, and make sure it's attached properly. The next thing for this pressure cooker, for the Breville, is we do have to attach it. So you have to move the top a little bit, and then there's a ring, and that red ring goes here. If you have an Instant Pot pressure cooker, you don't need to do this step. But what's nice about the Breville is that you can wash this in the dishwasher. It's gonna go on 1 second, there we go. All right, next step is we're gonna put our pot in here, and then last step for the Breville is we're going to attach it to the power. So it's in the back, and we're going to plug it in. If you have the Instant Pot, you don't need to do this step, it's already attached. Plug it in, and then when you do that, you see it lights up. So this is getting it set up, and then the next step will be to do the cooking. Today we're going to make chicken teriyaki in the pressure cooker. I prefer to brown the chicken a little bit so that it has some texture, but you don't have to do this. If you want to go straight to that step, put your sauce in first, then the chicken, and start it. What we're going to do is saute. So most of the pressure cookers have a saute function, and you're just going to press saute. It takes a few minutes to heat up. Make sure you press start. That's always an important part. And I always put a neutral oil in there. I'm going to use avocado oil, maybe 2 teaspoons or so, just so it's not sticky on the bottom. And when the chicken goes into the pot, we're going to season with some salt and pepper. I try not to touch chicken with my bare hands just so I don't have to worry about contaminating other parts of the kitchen. So I opened it up with a knife, and then I'm just going to take this fork and pop it in there. So as soon as that heats up, we'll start sauteing. It takes about maybe 2 minutes. It's pretty quick. You may start to smell it. You may hear some things, but you could also put your hand over. Right now, it doesn't feel very hot at all. We'll be back in just a minute. It's ready to go. So I can really hear that now. So all the chicken's in. We'll go ahead and season it with some salt and some pepper in just a moment. I like to use boneless skinless chicken thigh. It works great in the pressure cooker, and if you do it right, it's going to fall apart when it's all done and be super tender. The only way you can really mess this up is if you undercook it. So make sure you pressure cook it for at least 12 minutes, and you're going to be having a great meal. So it's been about 2 minutes. That's all you really need, maybe 3 minutes, and I'm going to turn these over now. There's one more thing I want to talk about. This process is really a 3-step process. The first is what you're seeing now, you're browning the chicken. The second is the pressure cooker needs to come up to pressure. That takes a certain amount of time. You're not really sure, it's maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And the last step is the pressure cooking. And that's where when you set the timer, once it comes up to pressure, then it starts counting down. So just be aware, setting it for 12 minutes doesn't mean it's done in 12 minutes. It's probably going to be done in half an hour. All right, we're almost ready to add the sauce. So we're going to go ahead and stop it. Give our sauce a little shake. This is a paleo teriyaki sauce. You can also use regular teriyaki sauce, or you can make a gluten-free one. So now we're going to put the sauce in, and we really, the dog wants some chicken. You just need enough to cover it, and you can save that for the next chicken or even for some sauce after. Go ahead and give that a little bit of a stir, and what you want to make sure is that the sauce is on the bottom and not just the chicken. Otherwise, what can happen is the chicken can burn. I might put another touch of sauce in there just to make sure we have enough. You can always cook it a little bit after, and that's it. And now we're going to we're going to put the cover on. We're going to turn it. We're going to set it to meat. 45 minutes is a little too much for this. let's go down to somewhere between 12 and 14 minutes. Since we did a lot of pre-cooking on this chicken, I think 12 minutes is going to be enough. Make sure you hit start. For this meal, we want the green beans to cook about 10 minutes. So when the pressure cooker is showing 10 minutes on the timer, then I'll start the green beans. I forgot to talk about was the what's called the release, which is here. Some of the other pressure cookers, like the Instant Pot, have different options. This one, you can say, I want to do an auto quick or natural. What that means is when it's done, the machine itself will stop. Once it's stopped, it will release the pressure sooner so you can eat sooner. Natural pressure, that means it's going to do it slowly, and it may take about 10 or 15 minutes. You do that maybe with stews and certain recipes. So with the other one, you need to do it manually, but you can still auto-release it. And on the Breville, you do want to make sure that this, I kind of forgot to set that, you want to make sure that this is set up like this. With the Instant Pot, you're going to be moving this to release the pressure, but you have to be really, really careful that you don't burn yourself. I used to use a wooden spoon to move it over, but you won't need to do that with this one. My neighbor came over, so I forgot to check this, but it looks like it's time to start the green beans. It's time to steam the green beans. You've got the steamer basket. There's water in the bottom. It's maybe about that much water. It's definitely below the steamer basket. I rinsed the green beans a little bit. Put the cover on. Turn it to high and set a timer for 10 minutes. And that's it. So with the Instant Pot, I do find that sometimes there's some steam coming out. And initially, when it gets up to pressure, it'll be like, shh, shh. But if it's spewing and making a lot of noise and there's a lot of water coming out, that means something is wrong. That's usually when I know I haven't put the ring in right. So I don't have an Instant Pot anymore, but I'm sure there's some videos somewhere you can watch to see what the norm is. And this is one of the many things I like about the Breville. Is this deep? Now it's doing that, and now it's saying it's ready. It's doing what's called auto quick release. You feel on the piece. Let's also check our green beans. I'm going to shut it off so I don't get steam burned, which really freaking hurts. Take off the top, get some tongs, and let's bring one over to the dish. And I usually just, oh yeah, that's nice and soft. Did you see that? Lovely, nice placid green bean, just what we want. Okay, there's so many things beeping at me right now, but I'm going to try to do this quick. So green beans, my flaccid green beans are awesome. Let's put some salt on there, like that much. And then because we're doing Asian tonight, I'm going to use some sesame oil. So just a little for seasoning, ish. Give it a toss and we'll be ready to go. Let's check on it. And it was probably about 3 minutes. It's so satisfying. Let's open it. Look at that, time for dinner. So I've decided I, in fact, do want to get it thickened. So I press saute. It's gonna, because it's already hot, it's gonna heat up really quickly. I have about 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, a little bit of water, maybe 1.5 teaspoons. And you're making a slurry. And I would say it kind of looks like, well, a little bit thinner than glue. I think it's a lot thinner than glue. That's probably all you're going to need. And you want to, I'm just going to add, we're going to add a little bit at a time because I don't want to add too much. Good thing my counters are going to get cleaned later by the fairies. So, yep, it's on. It's on saute. It should get heated up pretty quick, but it's also pretty hot. But see how thin it is? I want a thicker texture for this. When you're cooking in the pressure cooker, all of the juices that are in the chicken also come out and stay in the pot. So that's why it's a little thinner. So let's add maybe half of that. Much more. And then we're gonna let it boil, and then once it boils, we'll see how thick it is. You could always add, remember we had more of this. If we want more sauce, we could always add more of this if it gets too thick. So if you zoom into the pot, you can see it's starting to boil and bubble and not be any trouble. I kind of made a little line there. So we'll check in about a minute. So I did add a little more cornstarch, and you can see it's getting nice and thick now. So I think we are ready to eat. People, it's time to eat. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna start making my bowl. Toss my green beans with that little bit of salt and sesame oil. I'm gonna put that, that much. You can come back for more. And then look at that chicken. It is so, so tender. I love it. It's falling apart. That's how I like it. And let's get some of that yummy sauce. So look at that nice consistency. I'm gonna put that right on top, maybe a little more. And then guess what? We're gonna garnish it with some toasted sesame seeds. So there is your gluten-free chicken teriyaki made in the pressure cooker in, I don't know, it's half an hour or so. Enjoy.